Hey friend, it's me, Shenanigoon, the Little Rat Gamer, and I got to know if you'd like some headshots. I got all kinds, but I suppose if those don't suit you, maybe this Uncharted headshot challenge will. The rules are simple. I hit bad guys in the head, bad guys go bye-bye, and I win with the credits roll. Being an awful marksman, missing shots and flesh wounds are fine, but the ticket to heaven has to be a headshot. If I kill them in any other way, I have to immediately exit the game, cry for a bit, and then come back in the last checkpoint so the game doesn't record the mistake in this handy statistics chart. I will be playing on crushing difficulty for the grand majority of the story, except a few key parts, as you shall see. And in case you've never charted Uncharted before, spoilers ahead. Now friend, come with me and let's get up to some treasure hunting. We start by finding our hero, Nathan Drake, opening an empty coffin, which is perfect because I know so many pirates that are going to shortly need one. I valiantly defend my boat, but like most things I come into contact with, it blows up. In the pursuit of El Dorado, the last statue of gold, Elena, my new partner, and I are forced to abandon our plane when it too gets blown up. No wonder I need this treasure if everything I own keeps getting blown up. I awake from my crash to find a menacing angel statue, but don't worry, I make sure to headshot it before continuing on. Ever since Doctor Who, I'm taking no chances. I stumble upon more pirates soon after, and I discover that while it may very much look like I'm pointing my gun directly into a wall, that actually is not the case, and I can shoot beyond the wall. Either my depth perception is awful, or I don't understand physics. Probably both. When trapped on a ledge, I ignore the explosive barrel, headshotting the guy who has me pinned. Unfortunately, the driver's safe from headshots, and I'm forced to blow up the truck to progress. I'm sure the driver's fine though. There's no guarantee any of this killed him. I'm sure he's alright. Immediately after, I once again find myself pinned down by two faraway gunmen. My pistol doesn't reliably reach that far, and I can't risk not headshotting them, so I'm forced to rush for a closer position, enduring several awkward deaths. While waiting for my wounds to close up, I did enjoy the view of the jungle. Nothing like a good gunfight to appreciate Mother Nature, eh? Not just Mother Nature, but Nathan's fantastic upper body strength. I was stuck on that ledge for quite a while I healed after all. After recovering the map from my downed plane, I get into another firefight, and I really do have to commend the pirates for their out-of-the-box thinking of charging in a straight line at me. Makes my job so much easier. Though when they get this close, it's not just the jungle heat causing me to sweat. After doing such a good job, I was too busy patting myself on the back and just watched as Nathan walked right off the side of a cliff to his death. I was really counting on him to auto-grab the ledge, but evidently that's not something that happens in this game. Noted. While breaking into this castle to find Elena, I come under attack by a turret gunner. He has a very enticing explosive barrel next to him, but I'm forced to resist my natural instincts long enough to make my way around for a headshot. The next room proves extra annoying as the enemy continuously flanks me, leading to death after death. I'd really appreciate if they went back to rushing straight at me with zero cover mentality. Thankfully, none seem to grasp the concept of hiding 100% of their bodies behind cover. While exploring, I discover a treasure that would make Carl Wheezer weep with joy. If it was up to me, I'd be happy with the llama and call it a day, heading home. But I better get Elena out of here too. This is where hell begins. In a headshot-only challenge, they put me in a darn jeep with a machine gun. A machine gun. I barely managed with the pistol. I'm forced to restart the game over and over as I accidentally send enemies off without a kiss on the head. And if I don't do that, I sure manage to get killed like crazy. Near the start of this sequence, I had about 180 deaths and 437 enemies killed. After 2 hours of trying and over 100 failures, I'd realize I'd never make it through without lowering the difficulty. I finally make progress, but unfortunately it's here when continuously smashing into this oncoming jeep, I'm forced to sacrifice my headshot only and open fire with a grenade as it's the only way the game will let you progress. I will note my total kills went way beyond my gun kills, simply because the enemy would consistently blow themselves up on the terrain, something that counted for me it seems. This area was hard enough without counting their bad driving skills though. When I finally make it to the end, I cried tears of joy and had to note the 4-minute sequence had taken me over 2 hours, now at 601 headshot kills and 367 deaths. And none of those deaths counted the numerous times I was forced to restart the game, which would likely bring the death count to 400 at least. Who needs sanity when I can say I did it? I reset the difficulty back to crushing, took out some more enemies, then upon seeing another vehicle level ahead of me, I discovered I suffered from serious premature aging. It seems all this stress is really getting to me. I attempted to make it through over and over again, but being armed with a freaking grenade launcher really messes with my chance at headshots. Sure, the head will be destroyed, but so will everything else, and sadly that doesn't work for the challenge. I'm forced once again to lower the difficulty so I can brace enough of the enemy fire and make it to safety. Despite my advanced age, I'm still able to kick these youths behinds and open the gate for yet another jet ski portion. I thought I was free of it! The shock of this reversed my aging at least. I managed to avoid enemy fire by the unorthodox strategy of driving straight into a wall. This buys me time to heal before rushing to freedom. I bring the difficulty back up yet again along with my age, then got to work clearing a large room of enemies. In fun news, I acquired a sniper that evidently gave people the ability to fly. I come across a rope bridge and I've seen enough of these, I'm taking no chances. First, I have to make sure it's sturdy by lobbing a few grenades on it. Seems perfectly safe to me. Somehow though, chucking grenades on it didn't actually work out when unexpectedly the bridge breaks, almost costing Elena her life. Who could have seen that coming? Shortly after, I come across yet another jet ski, and I say no. Why? Why? I'd rather just swim. Why must I be tested this way? Oh yeah, I guess I did sign up for this. Well, on with it we go then. At this point, I began to deal with a more dangerous group of foes with stronger guns, but thankfully, a bullet to the head was still very effective. I discovered my old partner, Sully, held captive by the enemy, and I got to work rescuing him. After a couple obligatory deaths anyways. Happily, we are finally reunited as a team, so of course I naturally ditched the two of them right away and set off on my own. I can't pass up the chance to play as my favorite character in the game though, Elena, and decide to do me some identity theft. I'm not alone for long because I come across more enemies, but a minute later it's just me and their spirits remaining. I desecrate a church with a little parkour and some bodies, as one does, before reuniting with my friends. Then of course, we're immediately cut off from Sully because this game really feels three's a crowd. No third wheels allowed. In a small cutscene, the pirates show up once again and I'm prepared for an epic fight. Instead, I'm just immediately killed. Forgot epic fights only occur if both sides are equally matched. And I'm not quite up to standard. When I get past the pirates, Eddie, the pirate leader, and I are attacked by mutant monsters. Naturally, because murderous pirates and mercenaries weren't enough. These mutants aren't very easy to headshot, so I mostly rely on Eddie to protect me while I hide heroically behind him. At least I can whisper sweet nothings into his ear while he defends me with his life. You go, Eddie. You got this, you pirate, you. Don't let me die. Unfortunately, what Eddie and I had wasn't meant to last as the creatures drag him into the depths, forcing me alone with my broken heart, and oh yeah, a bunch of psycho mutant monsters. Story of my life. I managed to pull a couple headshots off, in between screaming, frick no, frick no, frick no, frick no, before Elena drops a rope for me to scramble to. Seems like the safest place is on this rope, as these guys are horrendous climbers. It's not all bad though. Those two over there just seem to be playing tag. When I climb up, everything goes to hell as the monsters chase me, and I'm forced to open fire to keep them off me, but not enough to accidentally kill any of them. Why aren't any of you trying to kill Elena? Whatever happened to just needing to run faster than your friends? Even when I'm dead, they're not trying to get her. Mighty suspicious. We finally make it to safety, and I take off on my own again. I'll take my chances alone with these things, then awkwardly sit in a room with someone I just asked the monsters to eat instead. Instead of fighting the creatures, I stuck with the sound strategy of running like mad and using a few bullets to keep them at bay. It's never a good thing when shooting something a couple times only keeps them at bay and, you know, not dead. I did make my 1000th headshot down here. Hard to celebrate with a corpse though. Every time I killed a mutant, my paranoia had me check the stats to ensure it was a proper headshot, because it was much harder to tell with these guys. I do find it crazy how bad these things are at climbing, since I constantly see them crawl out of hidey holes. Guess they never practiced with crates. Now, nearing the end of this adventure, I unfortunately lost a key bit of footage where I messed up the challenge. During the firefight in this church, the last guy alive is accidentally shot in the shoulder, not the head, knocking my count off by 1. The game auto-saved the moment he died though, forcing me to have to accept it so close to the end of the game. To add insult to injury, many of my opponents are wearing helmets now, forcing me to hit them twice in the head. Honestly though, it did take them long enough to realize they should be wearing head protection in a gunfight. I found this treasure right after that properly sums up my feelings at these recent events. Now at the endgame, we find the golden statue we've been chasing this whole time to be a bad thing. That makes the evil mutant monsters, and I have to stop it from leaving the island, plus save Elena. And what do I have to do this with? A shotgun! A frickin' shotgun in a headshot only challenge? I know when they made this game, they couldn't have possibly known someone would torture themselves this way 15 years later, but this still feels personal. I'm forced to run past all the monsters and the guards as though I don't even have a weapon, but that works as well as one can guess. Only by lowering the difficulty all the way to easy and rushing past am I able to make it without having to sacrifice the challenge. What's a few shotgun wounds to the back? Elena's awesome as ever, stopping the helicopter from getting away, but also leading it to crash while we're still on it. Now it's just between me and the big bad. But of course, I still have this darn shotgun. I die repeatedly trying to rush past the enemies without fighting before I realize that breaking the big bad's cover causes him to run away, greatly reducing the damage I take. This allows me to make it to the next section where I discover the greatest gift a person could ever find. A gun that shoots straight. This is where the fun begins. I make sure to knock the difficulty back to crushing for the final fight, and then I make my last few headshots. I follow the boss to the helipad and lose my gun in the ensuing struggle, forcing a fistfight where I misunderstood the quick time and got killed. But I gotta respect the headshot with a shotgun. Nice. Except for me being dead. I came back, kicked his butt, and sent him falling into the sea with the statue to his death. I'm sure it will land on his head and be a proper headshot. With that, I win. Why break it all down? I need to go back in time without the challenge being in effect and get proper revenge for the Jeep level. I made off with some treasure, including the ever valuable treasure of friendship, and 1,256 kills with 1,255 headshots. Curse that one missing head. Those 167 other dead guys, I'm not sure how they died, but it wasn't due to me. Though one did get blown up in the Jeep chase, as the game gave me no other choice. 632 defeats, 1/3 of which came from the Jeep sequence alone, and I stand victorious. The human head has now been properly charted by many a bullet. Uncharted on crushing difficulty is exactly that, nice and crushing. Probably a difficulty of 6 out of 10 on its own, and adding the headshot challenge probably up to 8.5 out of 10. This makes it the hardest challenge I've done so far, mostly thanks to this cursed Jeep sequence. Without that one sequence, it probably would have been a 7 out of 10. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to fire upon those like and subscribe buttons. I'm pretty sure you know what they do by now, and I appreciate any support given, and would love to have you along for more Insanity in the future. Regardless of that, get to building some charts, and have a great day, friends. See you later.